Hey tech heads, Fina here. Today I want to do a technical comparison of the Tesla Model Y long range and the Kia EV6 long range, both all-wheel drive. Now you can probably guess why I picked these two cars. Yes, it's because of the charging. Those specs are straight up top-notch. But can you guess who wins the speed duel? Before we get started, I want to give a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, BestEVMod. They specialize in aftermarket EV enhancements, offering everything from body kits, floor mats, to storage solutions for cars like the EV6, the Model Y, Ioniq 5, Mach-E, Polestar 2, and several others. They have great reviews and a nice selection, so if you're in the mood to customize your ride, definitely check them out on Amazon or their official partner site at evvita.store and get 5% off with our affiliate link in the description. All right, now let's get to these specs. I want to start by looking at the dynamics. So in an effort to pick a comparison that's fair, I chose the Kia EV6 long range, all-wheel drive, and the Tesla Model Y long range. Both cars have two motors on the front and rear axle and all-wheel drive. They also have very nice 0 to 60 mph acceleration figures of 5 seconds for the EV6 and 4.8 seconds for the Tesla Y. The quarter mile is covered in 13.1 seconds by the EV6 and 12.9 seconds by the Tesla Y. So very similar parameters, right? Now you may be surprised, as I was, that the Tesla's motor output is 324 kilowatts and the Kia EV6 is only 239 kilowatts. The torque is 510 Newton meters in the Tesla and 605 Newton meters in the EV6. Interesting. So we have to look at the weight. It's very similar. The Tesla Y weighs 1,979 kilograms, while the EV6 weighs 2,015 kilograms. So what parameter are we still left with? Yes, the air drag coefficient CD. Tesla leads with a perfect 0.23. Kia still has a solid 0.28. So now help me out, tech heads. How come the Kia has similar acceleration parameters even though it has 85 kilowatts less power? Do you think CD plays the biggest role? Or does the Kia have significantly more torque? Let me know what you think. Both cars are fully comparable in terms of price. The Kia EV6 long range all-wheel drive costs £51,745 in the UK, and the Tesla Model Y long range, £52,990. You can add some extra stuff to both. For example, a heat pump for the EV6 will set you back an extra £900. The Tesla Y has had a heat pump as standard since 2023, which of course has had a positive effect on consumption in colder periods. Now, would you like a heat pump in your car, or is it not really worth paying extra for one? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Okay, now we get to the biggies, batteries and charging. So the Kia EV6 offers 800 volts technology and can charge up to 233 kilowatts of DC power. Tesla offers up to 250 kilowatts of power with 400 volts technology. But knowing Tesla and their upgrades, it's possible they'll be changing that number over time. It is reported that the Tesla Cybertruck will already have the new 800 volt architecture. So that's pretty cool. Both cars also offer an 11 kilowatt three-phase AC onboard charger, which I would say is pretty standard these days. A 22 kilowatt AC onboard charger would be even better. The battery has a usable capacity of 74 kilowatt hours in the Kia EV6 long range and 75 kilowatt hours in the Tesla Model Y long range. DC charging thus takes only 18 minutes for the Kia EV6 and 27 minutes for the Tesla Model Y. I did research the details and indeed both cars achieve these times. So the Kia EV6 also offers a 3.6 kilowatt V2L or vehicle to load that has a 230 volt outlet, not only through an adapter to the charging port, which can be pretty awkward at times, but also from another outlet inside located in the rear footwell under the rear seat. So I think that's pretty cool. Kia says you can use up to 80% of the battery's capacity, keeping a typical household using 0.3 megawatt hours per month, running for up to 5 days. So I think that is awesome. Finally, you can have a weekend getaway at a cabin that has no electricity and you can just bring it with you in the car. That's pretty awesome. Somewhat surprisingly, the Tesla Model Y does not offer V2L, but leaks suggest they will introduce a bidirectional V2G standard within 2 years, which would be logical given their complete energy concept with the Tesla Powerwall home battery. I personally am quite surprised that it's taking so long to introduce it to their cars. What about you? So Tesla's advantage is, of course, in its extensive network of superchargers and the perfect interconnection with the onboard system. With the Kia EV6, you have to rely on the built-in, rather outdated navigation and their onboard system. And when you compare these two side by side, then it's really like they're from different worlds. So while the Tesla has a minimalist interior with a top quality central 15-inch display, positioned landscape, the Kia has two 10.2-inch displays, one in front of the driver and one in the middle. As you can see, the Kia's central display is quite hard to reach for the driver. It is also widescreen, so the image is very narrow when in portrait mode, and the touch buttons are quite small as a result, so they're only really good to operate when the car is stationary and you can really focus on them, which is not great. Now, admittedly, Kia also has trip planning via charging stations, but on their small 10-inch screen, it looks almost funny. So yeah, developments in EVs are moving forward awfully fast, and I would say that's probably the most true of the infotainment. So there is no Netflix, no YouTube, no games like on a games console in the Kia EV6, and just in terms of entertainment, the EV6 is doing really poorly. It's old school infotainment, and while some may like this, I personally would prefer something a bit more modern and especially online updated. At least Kia supports Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, unfortunately only in the wired version, which I had in my e-Golf back in 2015. That is 8 years ago now, so hello Kia. Kia will only offer an update for the wireless version for the new CCNC infotainment system that is in the Kia EV9, for example. So that must be pretty disappointing for many EV6 owners, isn't it? Next, we get to the interior, and here we again have two exactly opposite approaches. So Tesla has a minimalist interior without any buttons, and while Kia has reduced their number quite a bit, it still uses some. The Kia EV6 has a new touchpad for the climate control, but at least they kept the rotary dials for temperature adjustments, which is about the only thing you'll occasionally use with automatic climate control. I personally have automatic climate control that works automatically, and I really don't have to control it at all. I don't mind Tesla's approach in this regard, where the control is only via the central screen, but the buttons are good too. With the Kia EV6, I really love the button to trigger the 360-degree camera even while driving. I miss that so much in my Citroën EC4. And when I went to see the Kia EV6 in person, I was pretty impressed with the interior, but after 2 years, it just does feel a bit outdated. Probably because of that infotainment. What are your thoughts on this? What I really don't like is that Kia has used glossy black plastics again in those important places, especially around that great and ergonomic shift knob. I would say that there it's the worst, because it will immediately get scratched and tarnished, and I just think that's a real shame. Luckily, this can be solved with stickers from BestEVMod that will not be glossy, and I would definitely get those if I had a Kia. I really think that the design department should have been the one to address this, but okay, so it goes. At least we can make our own improvements. So, for example, someone mentioned in a previous video that they don't like the door handles on their Tesla. Well, you can also get new ones from BestEVMods, as well as a bunch of other things through the link in the description. So that's kind of cool, kind of puts the power back in your hands. I do love the massaging and ventilated seats in the Kia. The Tesla Y doesn't have massage seats yet. Apparently you can buy a box that uses lumbar support to provide massage. Has anyone tried this? Let me know. The Tesla Y's interior is different. It's very minimalistic and its quality has improved rapidly thanks to manufacturing in China and in Berlin. So no creaks or mismatched plastics anymore, and especially no black shiny plastics. The interior is superbly crafted and there's really nothing to fault it beyond the sheer minimalization, which may really be too minimalist for some of us. Well, maybe something. Opening the glove box in front of the passenger on the display. isn't that a bit overkill? For security reasons, you can even set a pin to open it. I don't know. I'd personally prefer a normal button. Wouldn't you? But I guess to each their own. Next, let's take a look at the dimensions of both cars. So according to the manufacturers, both of these cars are SUVs, which really makes me wonder, is there any car on the market these days that is not an SUV? Seems like car companies are really loving that acronym these days. But okay, let's get into it. So the Kia EV6 is 4,680 millimeters long, while the Tesla Y is 4,751 millimeters long. In terms of width, the Tesla Y is 1,921 millimeters, while the Kia EV6 is only 1,880 millimeters. Height is again a point for the Tesla at 1,624 millimeters, while the Kia EV6 is 1,550 millimeters tall. The wheelbase is similar for both of these cars, with the Kia at 2,900 millimeters and the Tesla Y just below at 2,890 millimeters. Ground clearance is 160 millimeters for the Kia EV6 and 172 millimeters for the Tesla Y. But now here comes a surprise. So the boot of the Kia EV6 all-wheel drive is a 20-liter front trunk or frunk and a solid 520-liter rear boot. Only the Tesla Y has a frunk of an incredible 117 liters and a rear boot of 854 liters. How is that possible, you ask? 854 liters. So the Tesla doesn't have a rear plateau or boot cover, so the volume apparently counts up to the rear window. Personally, I don't understand this at all because I don't want an open space from the cabin to the boot. Stuff will fall in, plus you can't pile it all the way up to the roof anyway. You gotta see out the back window. So for me, this is a definite minus for Tesla, and few people mention it in the reviews. But I definitely don't think that this boot cover is a useless thing. What do you guys think? Oh, and I almost forgot. Both cars can tow a 1,600 kilogram braked trailer or up to 750 kilogram unbrake. That's pretty impressive. Next, we have adaptive cruise control and the highway assist. So this is pretty interesting. The Kia EV6 has a classic radar system that works perfectly well. It's very reliable and you can just count on it at any time. In fact, I have absolutely nothing interesting to say about it, which is actually really good. In contrast, Tesla is experimenting and sometimes has radar, then doesn't have it, then it does again. And it's such a mess that I'd really have to physically check it in my Tesla and probably still wouldn't be sure that the radar is actually there or that the car is using it. So relying on cameras alone makes such a simple and time-tested system unreliable. This car still suffers from phantom braking, which is totally unimaginable to me. But if you read the owner discussions, some will tell you that it only happens to them just a few times a month. So it's pretty amazing how tolerant some Tesla owners are about some of these things. For me, this phantom brake would just have to happen once, and I don't think I could fully trust the car ever again. On the other hand, the Tesla is at the top of the heap in the safety of the Euro NACP assistance system. Quite a contradiction, isn't it, I would say? So be sure to let me know in the comments how Tesla is currently doing, and if you are also tolerant in this regard, or if you're more like me. Parking sensors are the same story. Tesla has removed the ultrasonic sensors and relies on cameras only. Impressions of this system are embarrassing at best. Sometimes I really don't understand this progress at any cost. I'm just not tolerant of this. I really want fully functional basic systems. Okay, I guess this is why I don't have a Tesla. It really is one of the reasons. But in September 2023, with 26,370 cars sold, the Model Y has become Europe's best-selling EV. So apparently some people don't mind that much. Maybe I'm just weird. Let me know in the comments what you think, and if you are able to criticize these systems, even if you already own a Tesla, were you prepared for this before you bought it? And is it better or worse than you expected? Okay, and what about range? So of course, both cars have a very usable range in the long-range versions, with batteries with a usable capacity of around 75 kilowatt hours. If we're talking about the more stringent WLTP-TEH, it's 484 kilometers for the Kia EV6 long-range all-wheel drive, and 533 kilometers for the Tesla Y long range. Here we get a nice demonstration of the superior efficiency of the Tesla powertrain. Real range, according to the EV database, is 400 kilometers for the EV6 and 435 kilometers for the Tesla Y. So I think this comparison is quite interesting. It's like each car is from a different world. And honestly, neither the Kia EV6 nor the Tesla Model Y are perfect, each in their own way. Personally, I don't think I would choose either of them because for me, some of these things are really essentials. But you might be different. If you like the videos that I make for you, you can support me in making more of them with a super thanks. Also, make sure to check out BestEVMods through the links in the descriptions so that you can customize your ride and get your discount. As always, I look forward to seeing you in the comments section below the video and also in the next video. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.